What's up, y'all, and welcome to Xbox Ready, my YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. We are still at the Xbox Showcase, and me and Jimmy, my buddy here, we started out the channel together, and we used to do these two-host things, these two-host videos, because he has a PlayStation channel, PS Ready, I got the Xbox channel, and we used to appear on each other's channels, and he ruined it because he bought a house in Michigan, got married, and then just moved away and
That's
ruined
right.
everything, bro. But now we are back. We are officially back, and I really wanted to get the PlayStation Jimmy Champagne perspective on the Xbox Showcase, starting with this semi-new, semi-not new hardware. What are your thoughts about it? We've been hearing about at least this thing, the Digital Series X. I remember getting the leaks like right around your wedding time.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, man, I had to film something really, really quick when I was
Yeah.
in Chicago, like at the freaking like their crappy gym in the basement. But yeah, now it's finally here. It looks exactly like the pictures. What are your thoughts?
So they're going for the PlayStation 5 sort of model here, where you
Mm,
got the disc version, which this one is $600 because it has a 2 terabyte SSD in it. I think that is
that's steep.
excessive and egregious if this is the same Series X that, we already have for a 2 terabyte paying an extra $100. You could not really do much better on an Xbox because it doesn't have the SSD port, which is a problem. But yeah, I think this one looks really cool. This one, I don't. I think this with the digital model of the PS5, I think it with this as well. It's not worth it. It's not worth buying a console that doesn't have a disc drive just to save $50. That's just not wise, you know? But if you're saving $150 for this gray Series S, that's when I think you're in the territory of it might be worth, sacrificing the disc drive. You can subscribe to Game Pass, play this for a while, really enjoy yourself. But yeah, if you've got any 360 games, any Xbox One games, any Xbox Series X disc games, do not buy this. Go for the normal black one.
Yeah, I mean, you do lose the opportunity to buy like cheaper used physical titles if you forego the disc drive.
Yeah.
You're saying that it's worth it. $150 is worth it, no disc drive. Is that all? There's been a lot of talk about the Series S, how it's holding back gaming. That kind of narrative is in the news
Yeah.
cycle again. Do you think saving $150 is worth it
No,
for
I
the
don't. I
power
don't think
trade-off?
anyone should buy this thing. Honestly, there's
I disagree.
it's cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. Okay, but you could pay $100 more now and get this. Even though I don't recommend this either. I just like you're not getting a good experience on this. You're getting 30 FPS. You're getting lower resolutions. It's like stuttering, janky frame rate. Everything's breaking down all the time. If you want entry
All
level,
the time.
yeah, every big game that comes out that's third party, like Lords of the Fallen. I wanted to play that last year. I ended up buying it on PC, but the Series S version was going down to I think like it would get to 2 frames per second if I remember right. Like there's a big gulf between this and this. Whereas they really should have just eliminated this. This should be gone. This should be $400. This should be $500.
I think this punches way above its weight, especially like I've been playing Elden Ring on this. Very smooth experience. You were just
Yeah.
talking about how your brother's playing at like
Yeah, he's
12
playing on a
FPS Elden
handheld
Ring on a
PC.
handheld
He's
PC,
playing on a
the
handheld
Ioneo.
PC, to be fair, that laps this thing by a lot, but it doesn't run great. But yeah, this is a cool supplementary console. I've got one. My wife likes it. It's a good entry level machine, but like if you want to play hardcore games, I'd say I'd wait a month or two, save up a little extra money, and go for the Series X. I mean, why are you not going for the bet?
Agree to disagree. Agree to. I think they both serve their markets. We know that this thing is outselling this thing. Well, maybe not these specific models, but the
Yeah.
Series S so far has proven to be slightly more popular than the Series X. And I think there is a good reason for that. I mean, I know it
Yeah.
rubs like us traditional hardcore gamers, quote unquote, the
Yeah,
wrong
if you already
way.
got a PS5
But
and you just want to get the Game Pass experience, it makes sense to get the
yeah.
one that's 350, try out some games.
Sure, maybe it's a little bit more difficult, doesn't run things maybe at the caliber at this thing does right out the box. But eventually every big game that comes out that notably has problems eventually makes it up to a good experience. Cyberpunk 2077, I play
Yeah.
Chivalry 2 on this all the time, Elden Ring, Microsoft Flight Simulator, all great looking games. Starfield as well, running on this little thing. And you just can't beat it for the price that it's at. Like if I was trying to build a PC or get something equivalent of that. Yeah, so we got the hardware and it's cool to finally like get my hands on it. I've been talking about it for freaking months. This kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like the thing that we saw Brooklyn in those original leaks event
Yeah.
like was split in two and like became these two things. Because
I'm a little curious if this is just a Series X or if it is a little bit more powerful. Like, I want to know
I
if
think
there are
it-
any hardware revisions. Like, even if it's like to the level of the PS5 Slim, where they cut down the overall like weight of the PS5 by about half, and you can tell when you pick up the Slim, it's much lighter than the regular. And this thing still feels pretty heavy. So I'm not feeling any, removal of parts out of this thing.
I think
so
it-
maybe they beefed it up a little.
you'd have to I'd probably do a full teardown. I kind of see like even if
Yeah.
it's like just a different heat sink, like what we've seen again with the PS5 when they change up the SKUs a little bit more.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but this
But-
thing is on and it is quiet. The fan is full rev on this.
I can kind of yeah.
Extremely quiet.
There we go. I mean, if you were to do the math, like you buy a Series X for $500, you buy a terabyte Seagate card or a WD Black. Those usually go for like 120, maybe even 150 in some markets.
Yeah.
So it would work out to be a little bit cheaper if you bought those separately. But $600, I'm not crazy about the price. It just seems like it seems a little bit too excessive. It's not like an impulse buy, It's like you really gotta consider and weigh the options. But I will say, as someone who has I have a 2 terabyte card in my Series X, and it has made my life so
Yep.
much friggin' easier.
I got a 2 terabyte SSD in my PS5. It's great.
It's so good. But
So, let me ask you a question
Uh-huh,
to bring in the second topic here.
yeah.
After watching this Xbox showcase, seeing all the games that are coming, do you think they saved their reputation? Do you think they saved their ability to make consoles for people to want to buy them? I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, hey, I don't have an Xbox, but a lot of these games convinced me.
Yeah, I mean, they showed off some things that originally made them popular, right? Like bringing back Gear 6, or not Gear 6, Gears E-Day.
Specifically not Gears 6.
Yeah,
which
it's
is why I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Gears is awesome when you're playing as Marcus Phoenix.
But returning to Marcus
Yeah.
Phoenix specifically after
Yeah,
kind of
what?
taking a detour with like K and then
the
Hybrid
gameplay in 5
Busters.
was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
the open world sections and everything. The story in 4 and 5
Yeah.
is not it for me. But no, I'm hyped for Gears. So.
But I think, they made a strong case for themselves. I was a little like, if Doom was also exclusive, I feel like that really would have been
Yeah.
the home run for them. But
That's
the-
kind of like inconsequential for me because like Doom, I was never gonna play on my PS5 in the first place. I'm
Yeah.
playing that on PC because it's a first-person shooter.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, that was a good game, and Stalker 2 is looking like it's shaping up pretty good. State of
Stalker
Decay
2.
3 finally reappeared after years since it's been shown off, and I guess that was actual gameplay. Looked really good. It looks like a lot more mature than State of Decay 2, which is a more like cell-shaded style game, but it looked really good and got me excited.
Yeah, that was another game. There were rumors of like a troubled development cycle, some drama involving that. So it's good to finally move on from that narrative and actually see the game. And they must be feeling pretty good about it to be showing it off.
Yeah.
And
Perfect Dark is an immersive sim, which I didn't realize it was going to be. That looked really good.
that looked really, really cool. The parkour I thought looked pretty smooth. And that's hard to achieve, I feel like, in that first person point of
For
view.
sure. I gotta say, a few of the games were not running great. I did notice a lot of stuttering in Metal Gear Solid Delta. There's a lot of like jittering,
yeah.
stuttering. Perfect
Yeah.
Dark definitely was dropping frames.
This game wasn't on my radar at all until today, but Expedition 33 or 33 Expedition.
Oh yeah, the JRPG
That
style
looks
game, yeah.
interesting to me. Yeah, it kind of had that turn-based JRPG style combat. The enemies in that game and the world of that game look more interesting to me than the protagonists. You get what
I
I'm
agree.
saying? Like, it's kind of got like that,
Um,
like new age fantasy kind of vibe that
very
I'm like.
Persona 5 inspired too.
Yeah. It's like the American
Persona 5
take
at
on it.
home a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but
But speaking of protagonists, they upgraded the protagonist in Fable. She looks great now. I think I was one of the haters last year. I was like, I don't know, I hope there's a character creator. But now, after watching the new gameplay trailer, I'm like, I could play the whole game as her. I don't really care. She looks good now. She looks more like the actress.
yeah, I had a feeling that it was going to be more of a 2025 release date, especially
Yeah.
because I have another fantasy RPG,
Avowed.
Avowed, coming out later this year, which I was thankful that they weren't like, Avowed 2025, delayed after 24.
So you saw these games. Do you think it's enough? Do you think this is going to move the needle?
I think it is enough to move on. Well, you know, there's been a lot of negative stuff in the
Yeah.
news cycle, and obviously, when you're a content creator, you tune into that, and as a fan, especially. I think there is enough to move on and be excited for. Gears alone, I feel like, is enough for people to be like, damn,
Yeah.
this is a return to form, like good.
Yeah, they're calling it Gears of War again instead of just Gears. So
Yeah,
I don't
Gears
know.
of War, and
The last two Gears, they were stepping off track a little bit, but I'm glad that they righted the ship.
but apparently, like that whole trailer was in engine, and so like
Yeah.
if the prospect of a Gears game looking that good is terrifying to me. I think there's enough to look forward to as an Xbox fan to at least hemorrhage the bleeding, if not even more. That you say you're seeing people on Twitter saying like, oh, maybe like I'll buy an Xbox now, or
Yeah.
maybe I'll get Game Pass now. And that knowing how Twitter is and knowing how gaming discourse can be on all platforms, that is a huge win for Xbox, especially after I want to. I feel like you'd agree with me here. State of Play was kind of like
It's
whatever.
terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't like. I mean, like Concord. I don't know. Don't like it. But there were some
Yeah.
cool games at the State of Play. Nothing on par, I would say, with what we got here. And I saw a lot of people are going after Sony on Twitter right now, saying we want a showcase that's on par with this because like all of their first-party studios are currently working on games. We just want to hear about them. The interesting thing that I haven't seen anyone talking about is that Xbox confirmed the next-gen console. They said we're working on it right
We're
now.
working on it. Yeah,
No
yeah. and
mid-gen
that'll-
refresh. No PS5 Pro competitor. But we've seen lately, though, a lot of games that are multi-platform have finally started running better on the Series X than they do the PS5, which makes sense on paper because this is stronger. But for the first half of the generation, it was the opposite, where a lot of games were running better on PS5. So
Mhm.
I think there's a lot more horsepower left in this thing that they can take advantage of. So it's
Yeah.
not. I don't think they need like a Xbox Series X Pro, especially when they've got 3 SKUs now to worry about.
It was an interesting move hearing about like their declining hardware sales, and then they come out with this showcase and they're like, we're adding 3 more SKUs
Yeah.
into the lineup. Lot to look forward to if you are a Game Pass subscriber. They showed off, if anything, maybe not the console, they showed off that there is reason to be excited about your Game Pass subscription going in for the rest of 2024 for sure, and into 2025.
Hopefully they can get these games out before what Sony's working on comes out, because I feel like Xbox just gets dwarfed by Sony regardless of the quality of their games. So we're waiting on Naughty Dog, we're waiting on Sucker Punch, we're waiting on Ben Studio, we're waiting on Santa Monica Studio. They've got a little bit of time, I think, so that gives Xbox a little bit of time to get some of these games out, these bigger ones like Fable, Doom, everything else.
Overall, great show. I think there was at least one thing for every fan of Xbox
I
out there
agree.
that got them excited.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be doing videos with this dude again
Yeah,
in the
it's
same
fun.
room. Like
It's
it's
fun.
it's bringing back good memories, man.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ray back
You
at
know,
it again.
it's an objectively good show. You know, like I love Sony. Obviously, I have PS Ready, but got to admit when Xbox shows up, and they showed up.
There we go. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.